readiness to go to school, to children's ability to do well in school, to people's ability to get a job and stay in a job, and on and on and on. Violence prevention is coming. There's not as much research yet about the role of social emotional violence prevention. So I'm so glad to hear that the woman at Chicago State Institute, because it's at the core of everything. If we knew how to be in conflict and resolve our conflict with words, who would need to be shooting up people? I mean, it's as simple as that, right? If I knew how to communicate with my son or daughter, and when I had this baby, understood that this baby's job is not to be my baby doll and give me unconditional love, but my job is to give this baby unconditional love and teach him or her how to be in this world. Personal at our
That's the reason why it's gotten into some of the flip side.
That's right.
They're having babies because they're saying this baby will love me.
That's right.
No, you got it backwards. This
right.
baby needs me.
That's exactly
Up
right.
until this child is old enough and becomes an adult, they won't have to have you with their apron strings attached. And that's why these kids are so confused, and they're getting younger and younger. These girls that are having these babies with no parents to see them.
That's right. I agree with that. And I would just go further to say, certainly in our community, there's a heavy focus on that. But I think in every avenue of life, this lack of these skills is going on. In every demographic, in every neighborhood, in everything. But when you have fewer resources, it's harder to cover it up. That's all. I'll go back to the presidential election. These folks acting like some of the young peers we're talking about, right? How many of us know folks? And none of us, we know we're perfect, right? But how many of us know other adults, other of our friends and family who don't know how to act sometimes? Because we're in pain and we're angry and we haven't learned how to be in relationship. So to your early point, Laura, to me, it's about us. It's about the adults first. It's about how we learn these behaviors and how to manage these emotions for ourselves. And it's about how we model it. And one of the things that I have learned is that to the extent that we can encourage people to be in conversation with one another, like block by block by block. Hey, we're going to do a potluck. We're going to arrange for us to have some targeted conversation. We're going to raise some questions that are important to everybody. And there's no hierarchy. Nobody's standing up. I'm not standing up in front of folks. We're all sitting down around the table and we're all sharing our voice. But we're going to have some ground rules about how we do this, right? And I'm not, basically the ground, we're going to listen. We're going to be respectful. All the things that we tell kids. We need to set those ground rules for ourselves when we're in meetings and when we're in conversation. And when we do that, and when we call ourselves to task, we begin to share, and if we feel safe, we begin to share some of those pains and some of those hurts and some of that anger. And it's the expression of that stuff and understanding that we're not alone in that begins to help us to heal. And then when we heal, and we see that, I told her about that. She doesn't know me from a hole in the wall, but I told her about that, and she didn't go telling my neighbors across the street. Then we start to build trust in one another again. And when we start to build trust in one another again, then community starts to come together. So it's a process, and it takes time. But it's not going to happen unless we can galvanize whatever number. If it's the 6 or 7 of us, then that's fine. If we have the intention to do. You said you'd be a committee of one. That's fine as long as you have the intention and then can find some other folks of like mind. But my hope is that community by community, maybe it's block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, ward by ward, however you want it to be, to the extent that we can just agree to come together. We're going to spend an hour and a half on Saturday afternoon in conversation. In conversation and begin to know each other and know ourselves and build that trust. And then when we can trust each other, then we can go to school as an organized group of the same mind, of the same heart. This is about the kids. This is not about us. We know how to interact with folks. We're teaching these young parents how to interact with the principal. You're going to go raise a cane. Who's going to listen to you when you go up there raising a cane?
That's what we're going to do next Saturday.
We're bringing block clubs in from all over in the South Shore area.
Right, because this one someone told me about
Yeah,
it, and I've been going to the meetings ever since because it made a lot of sense to me because I am the block club president where I live. And to have this much promotion on my block that we have never had, it's kind of like turned all of the neighbors around that's been living there for a while, that we have two unruly families at the same time. You know, and they're saying, well, what are we going to do about this? So I'm trying to obtain some skills so I can take it back to my block club when we meet again to tell them, listen, I learned this, I learned that, and we're going to have to utilize these resources. Other than that, we will continue to get families that are very disruptive to our lives anyway.
Right. No, that's fantastic. And I wish, Laura actually invited me. I'm going to be out of town next Saturday. I would love to participate in that. And I'm not going to really go on any longer because I see y'all nod, so you know I'm not bringing you anything that you don't know. You know, we call it different things. I think what's important is the intention. And I think, and to me, while it's essential that the schools understand that this is something that they're supposed to be teaching our kids, to me, at this stage in the game, it's more important that we as neighbors first come together and come to some shared understanding of number one, what is it that we need to be teaching our kids? And what is it that we need